Well, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says his administration has taken a decision to reposition the Gauteng province with a growth and development strategy targeting 2030, committed to accelerated economic recovery and reconstruction. Now, the plan is to fight crime, lawlessness, vandalism, to change living conditions in the townships, among other commitments. Delivering the State of the Province, well, that's the SOPA address yesterday, Lesufi said a budget increase from 750 million to multi-billion rands will be allocated in the next 3 years to fight crime. Helicopters and drones, patrol cars allocated for hostels, e-panic buttons for the public, a 24-hour anti-land invasion response are just some of the changes awaiting Gauteng. Lesufi also said funds will be allocated to support township businesses, to claim back the spaza shops and to support township businesses. Now, someone may be saying, well, we have heard it all before, but Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi is here in studio to tell us how this is going to work and if this is just a pipe dream, which some are calling it. Good to see you, Premier. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dan. I really appreciate every time I come here. Thank
Indeed.
you so much.
We're so happy too.
You.
So, okay.
I grew literally here.
Exactly. So listen, I mean, it sounds amazing.
We have to.
Everything you said yesterday sounded amazing, but
we have to.
It sounds and actually putting it into action and making these things work is a different story. Some people calling it a pipe dream. Talk to us about this.
Well, I'm humbled that people will start to criticize without even seeing action. And I can't blame them. I think people feel that they have been promised and nothing has happened. So we're in office 4 months. So the last 4 months we've been researching, heavily so. We've been benchmarking with other countries. We've been hard at work with especially the private sector, security industry in our country. They've done well. Actually, they're far advanced of us. The things that we're talking about, helicopters, drones, e-panic button, they already have it. And the government does not have it. So those that are saying it's the pie in the sky, they don't know, we're just migrating things that are in the private sector into government. And they will be done within the shortest possible time. I mean, the CCTV cameras, we're about to connect to almost 2,000 CCTV cameras in the next 3-4 weeks. So it can't be a pie in the sky. It's something that will happen. We've already procured 400 cars. They're there in the parking bay so that each and every ward in our country has a patrol car 24 hours. We are training 6,000 young people. As I'm speaking to you now, they're in training. We're not going to recruit. They're in training. They've been trained to fly drones, to drive these particular cars in every ward and to ensure everything. The hostels where people are staying in horrible conditions. We've already appointed almost 18 companies to clean them, to fix the doors, the windows, ensure broken windows, ensure that they've got clean water and they can even have showers. So these are not things that we are still going to research, budget for them, think about them and reposition them. We spent 4 months researching, working on them. Do you have the budget? Do you have the personnel? Do you have the skill? Do you have the talent? And do you have the capability as government? Because that's another thing. You can do all these things, but government does not have the capability. Do we have the capability? And I'm convinced we have to. But the townships, the gap between the townships and urban areas, it's widening. It can't be normal. We can't just accept that people should just jump a sewer every day. People have to wait for darkness to set for them to relieve themselves and other things. We have to intervene. We can't have informal settlement mushrooming every day. We have to stop them because we are going to be a slum city if we can't stop this thing. So the training of the team that will stop informal settlements is already there. It's a tactical team. We have put resources to train them how to do it. We are putting lawyers to file agent papers in courts to stop this, because we live in a constitutional state. You can't just use force power to remove people. You have to go to court, get the necessary order. So I'm quite convinced we are ready this. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a bumpy ride, I must be honest. And I hope the team, especially officials that are working with us, will understand the doubts that our people have in us, and they will prove all of us right, that they will support us to execute this mandate.
I'm glad you say the team, because you can sit here with all the ideas in the world and all the greatest technology and cars and helicopters and drones and cameras and all of these things that are there. But the reality is that you and your team are a very, very small portion of what is actually the bigger scheme of things. Because the bigger scheme of things, from what we see, from what actual residents in Gauteng actually see, is the rot of the system. Because from you talk with these ideas, then it has to be implemented by everybody underneath you. But there is just rampant corruption. There is despondency. There are people that are working for the city and the state, and that are just so corrupt. And you can just see that they're not interested. I mean, I was hearing stories of some traffic officials here in Joburg, and I'm not sure anywhere else, that can earn up to 5,000 Rand a day in bribes. And that, I mean, why would they stop? What incentive do they have to stop? So the reality is that we call this a pipe dream because everything you say is great. It is wonderful on paper, but in action, all the promises seem to fail.
I wish you can join me. For the
Please invite us.
The last 4 months, Leon, 4 months, the last 4 months, they will tell you, I didn't start with senior leaders. I started with managers from the ground. 6 a.m. every day. For the last 4 months, 6 a.m., meeting with all leaders of each and every department, meeting with all senior managers, each and every department, all the things that we've publicized. We went every day, 6 a.m. We're starting our meeting at 6 a.m. just to outline, project manage, ensure that I've got the team and the capabilities and the talent that I need to implement this project. So where I am, I'm comfortable. But obviously, we'll have those kind of things. We'll have people that will need bribes, who will cut corners, we'll have people that will not be committed. There are 3 HODs that I've packed already. An HOD is a head of department. I just felt this person is not ready to move with the team. Please just stand aside. Let's have a new person that will assist us to run these particular things. I share the frustration. I have the frustration myself. When I opened the speech yesterday, I said, I don't think that I should even deliver the speech because people don't believe us anymore. That what we need to do is just to get South Africa working because our people are not demanding many things, Leon. They're not demanding many things. They just say, government, do your work. Do it without time, within the timelines. Do it within budget. Ensure that you protect the fiscus. And we are committing to enter that particular space. And as people say, the taste is in the pudding. We've got the next 12 months for us to ensure that what we have put on the table can be evaluated. And we are public servants. People have the right to criticize us.
Yeah, they do. And I love what you said. We don't expect much. As citizens of the country, we don't expect much. What we do expect is delivery of services. And we don't get that. So if we look at the state of Gauteng, let's look at healthcare, for instance. I mean, people are very worried about the healthcare system, the hospitals, the shutdown of certain hospitals and the positions that they find themselves in. I mean, it's dilapidated and the waste of state resources in such a case of Charlotte Mateke, where so much theft has been reported, yet the government spends anything from 30 to 40 million in security every single year, but the theft is still happening and the situation it is in and the attitude of a lot of the personnel that work in these hospitals. Let's talk about healthcare as a main priority. Where are we going with this?
Health and education are very key. That's what government is all about. So what we did in the last 4 months, we said, which hospital can be our benchmark? So that we know, if we say a hospital in Gauteng, that hospital must look like this hospital. So Mamelodi Regional Hospital is our benchmark. I invite you, Leon and SK, go to Mamelodi Regional Hospital. You've got everything that we want. And the revamping of that hospital didn't even cost us more than 35 million. The revamping didn't even cost us there. You've got every tool that they need. So if they have to take you to surgery, they have to take you to theater, whatever, they've got it. So we've benchmarked it in the last 4 months. This is the hospital we need. We have to duplicate it in all the hospitals, starting with township hospitals. But you don't have that financial muscle now because you get piecemeal money. So we've approached National Treasury. Fortunately, National Treasury, when you approach them in rebuilding new schools in township, it took them almost 5 years, but they gave them money to say, like a bonded house, you get your house here, but you pay it in 20 years. So they've agreed all hospitals in Gauteng. They're going to give us the resources to revamp all of them. These hospitals are falling apart. And that is why they are old, they are aging. So we need to compete with the private sector hospitals. And we have to put all the necessary resources that are needed there. So there is a budget scale that will assist there. But you are Charlotte Mateke, you are Bara, Rahima Mosa. They are just falling apart. So I said to the team, what do we need to do? The problem with mentality of government, we want to go first, buy land, and then put bricks and all this. There are facilities that are readily available. We have to enter that market to go and buy those facilities and convert them and migrate them into proper hospitals. So the health sector is under our microscope. We are building a new pharmaceutical institution because to get a Panado, we have to go to Lien. Lien must get it from SK. SK must get it somebody. We are putting a pharmaceutical company that is liaising with the wholesalers so that we can buy directly there and ensure that is available. We've analyzed areas where there are shortages of hospitals that are leading to overcrowding. Because if you don't build a hospital in a certain community, they'll migrate to where the hospital is. That is why Johannesburg or Charlotte Maxey gets overcrowded and others. So there is a plan just to work on our health system, and the MEC is aware. And I said to the MEC, we just need one file for every patient. Because you can't be Lien in this hospital and be Samson in another hospital and other. So we have to put the tech in, the biometric that we need, and every file must be digitalized so that the medication is meant for South Africans. We can't have people that come here, take our medication and go out. Or they go to this hospital with this name and go to another hospital with this name. We can't suffer because of the resources that we have. These resources are meant for South Africans. Let's protect them and ensure that they're available for us. So the healthcare system in our province is under our direct microscope, and there's a budget plan that we want to unleash to really revamp our hospitals, especially those that are in the townships.
All right, so we've spoken crime, we've spoken healthcare. Let's speak about electricity, because electricity is now, the energy is our big problem. Yep. And I mean, I know in your speech you were speaking about putting solar panels on all sort of government facilities. I'm surprised that hasn't happened already, but that's just me. The solar panels, the building of a solar farm, we can get more details about that. And then also, of course, the free Wi-Fi you're talking about. But perhaps talk us through that.
Well, we've got a small leg room on energy as a provincial government. Legislation favors local government and national government. As a provincial government, really, you can't move that much. If I had my wishes, would have unleashed all the resources to ensure that, especially houses of the poor, that they've got solar panels. Each and every house, we can put solar. But we don't have the capacity and the resources because legislation doesn't give provincial government. The only thing we can do is to assist local government. That is why we are building the 800 megawatt solar farm in Merafung. And in the last 4 months, we went to the market, we interacted with the market, and the international people say, we will invest in the solar panel farm. So we've got 6 people that are coming to invest in the solar panel. And then, as you said, we are migrating government into the solar panel grid as well. And we are taking the 2 local authorities that have the capacity to build power station, Johannesburg City Power and Revamp in Tshwane. So we're entering into some form of an agreement because we are provincial government. We can't take our money and give to another sphere of government without the necessary arrangement. So the mayor of Johannesburg is moving with speed to say they are ready to give us support, because if we can give them that support, at least Johannesburg, which is a major city, if we can protect Johannesburg from load shedding, or at least 2 stages of load shedding, I really believe that would have made a huge investment. But legislation doesn't give provincial government that huge leg room, but we'll do with what we can on this particular matter.
I've run out of time, but I want to ask, I don't know if my producer will give me a couple of minutes just to wrap up conversation after the news. Would that be okay? I'm hoping my producer will speak to me in my ear. That'll be okay. So if you've got the time, just a few more minutes.
For you, I do.
We've got so much more to talk about.
No,
so
okay.
Let's get our news. It is 7 o'clock. So SK standing by, and then we'll come back and just wrap up the conversation with the Premier. SK, over to you. All right, still in conversation with Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi, who delivered his State of the Province address yesterday. We've just been talking to him about some of the key issues that he brought up, certainly crime being one of them. That was the one where he's made major promises to tackle crime in the best way possible. Helicopters, e-buttons or e-panic. But what do they look like, Premier? What's an e-panic button?
Well, there are 3. There are 3 types. We already have them. There are 3 types.
We already have them.
Yeah, we already have them.
Who has them?
We have them. The market has them.
The market,
we had, over the weekend,
people...
I had an expo of people that are selling this kind of products.
Yeah?
So they've already presented to us.
So when you say every resident's going to have one, is that something that you're going to provide to residents?
That I'm saying, it's 3. It's 3 forms of them. The first one, which is the easiest, that can be overnight, is those that have all smartphones. So it's going to be an app.
Yeah.
You just download the app. It picks up where you are, everything. You press it and we know where you are. The second one is the actual gadget. And that's why we give it to communities that don't have access to phone. So when you pull it, it registers where you are. It's just a small pin. You just pull it. It also is an alarm light. It makes noise, so people will hear. Rather than putting a whistle, it will make noise. It's already in the market. They call it memeza, others, and all other things. The third one is an actual CCTV pole. So you go to the CCTV pole, you press it, and then the CCTV will capture where you are, and then it will then register with our command center. So they're already there. It's not something, that's why people say it's a pie in the sky. We just need to do is to use proper government procurement system to then migrate them from the private sector to come into government. So it's not something that we're still going to develop and other things. They're there.
I mean, I could bring examples of just picking up a phone and phoning the police.
And that's the reason why we need e-panic button.
And it takes how long? I mean, we go back to that incident that happened at the bridge with the tanker explosion. And obviously investigations are still happening, but the amount of time it took for traffic and police officials to get to the scene after the phone call, and you see how many people died.
Don't blame me on things that I was not there. I'm here.
I know you are. But what I'm saying is, and I'm voicing what a lot of people are saying, your intentions and your speak is all in the right place, but it's the people below you to implement this. But you've spoken to that, and I understand that. I have to just quickly touch on 2 issues before I wrap here. There are so many unstable municipalities that are in Gauteng that have been put under administration, and there are service failure deliveries in every corner you look. Look at the VAL, for instance. I mean, that's just one example I can give you of a list that is getting longer and longer and longer. I mean, the state of our roads in the province, that's another story. How do we fix these municipalities?
Allow them to cooperate with me. That's the only thing I'm asking. They must cooperate with provincial government. Fortunately, with the VAL municipality, I had more than 18 meetings with them in the last 4 months. So we know where the problems is. Their bank account was attached by Eskom. I intervened, that bank account is functional. And I'm saying to them, your biggest problem is electricity. Everything that you have, the money must go and pay for electricity. So we have to reposition how you buy electricity from Eskom. So we will intervene there. We have taken over to assist them with roads, collection of garbage, and fixing their sewer challenges. So we will intervene there because they've accepted our offer. But if other municipalities don't want to accept our offer, there's nothing we can do. Where we are allowed to intervene and assist municipalities, we will be in a position to do that. Gauteng, for example, lots and lots of sinkholes. So that municipality say, come and assist us. We will assist because there are 2 different governments, a local government, provincial government. We are a provincial government. We can't take over their powers. We can only interact with them when they cooperate with us. I'm worried about potholes as well. We've got massive, massive potholes everywhere. And the situation is deteriorating rather than improving. So we need to come in with mayors that are going to be elected now so that we solve that problem and attend to it. But remember, we are a provincial government. There is a role we can play. Local government, there's a role local government can play. But if we cooperate, I think our people can see that there's one government so that we can resolve their challenges.
And this is where the issue comes in, because you talk about that synergy between the provincial and the local government. And I mean, you've been very vocal on matters regarding the city of Joburg and all of these mayoral departments and your capacity as the ANC. But I mean, the confusion in these coalitions and the instability of coalitions, this is hampering service delivery. And I know that coalitions is the way forward. We know this. This is how it's working. But how do you get the 2 to gel, local and provincial?
Well, instability in terms of governance worries me as well. I might be the provincial leader of the ANC in this province, and that is why I had to persuade my own political party that you don't have to be a mayor to participate in government, so that we can allow stability. Johannesburg is stabilized now. We are trying to do that with Ekurhuleni. It's just unfortunate that the party that is running Ekurhuleni does not want to accept that majority must rule. There will be instability later this week in at Tshwane because the mayor is leaving the area. Yeah. So we'll try to ensure that we stabilize, especially these 3 metros, because they carry a huge budget. They carry a huge mandate, and they service millions of our people. So if we can stabilize these 3 metros in particular, I think we are ready to roll.
All right. Here we go. Just 1 or 2 tweets before we go. Morning, Bob Babes Bezindaba and the viewers at home. Lesufi has a tendency of talking too much but doing little. Great visionary, but lack of implementation is a norm to him. But let's give the benefit of the doubt and see what he can or can't do. Let's hope for the best.
I went to education. We introduced great ideas. So judge me with what I've done in education.
Fair enough. I believe in Lesufi. He'll make a huge difference. Here's a compliment. Victor Marau. Another one from Pule saying, morning, ladies. Well, talk is cheap. When you know elections are coming, it feels the same story of empty promises as always. Let's watch this space. Only time will tell. But I lost all hope, and I believe, to be honest. It's amazing how this is, I think Pule speaks to a lot of South Africans, and you admitted that right up at the beginning, that people have lost faith in governments. And I suppose, look, I'll tell you what I can do. I can high five. I'm going to give you a high five just very quickly because I got to do this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the e-tolls.
No, thank you.
Because I mean, seriously, enough is enough. But you still haven't told us what's going to happen.
Yeah, we still have administrative glitches.
But are they gone? Are we finished?
No, they're gone.
So the argument's over.
We'll never have. The only thing is the after effects of it. The switching off of the countries, the payments, the debt, and people that have been paying and those that have not been paying. We need to strike a balance. That's why it's giving me sleepless nights. But the e-tolls are gone. So we'll never have e-tolls in our province. But we just have to deal with the administrative things. And it's law, unfortunately, and we have to adhere to law.
I could keep you here all morning, but I can't. Thank you. Thanks, Premier. Thanks for talking to us here on the programme. That was Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi elaborating on the Gauteng State of the Province address he delivered yesterday. So much to get through, but at least giving us a crux of some of the key issues.